Hello, guys, and welcome to the newest episode of the Just Another Castle podcast. With me today, we have Mike.
What up?
We have Matt.
E3!
E3! And myself, Eli. We just got a nice three-person show today. Flea is out, and guest, cough, Pat, did not show up. So, we'll just be talking about all the latest news. E3's...
Well, he's definitely not going to come back now that you trashed him.
Well, he won't listen to this.
Good point.
So we're super excited for E3, which is really awesome because it's next week. I'm not going to be here to discuss it, but Matt, Mike, and Flea will all be here to discuss E3 and all the announcements Nintendo makes, and I'll be back the week after that to talk about the show itself. So, as always, we're going to begin with what we've been playing. So I've been playing, number one, I've been playing more Splatoon. I got to B- rank in the ranked mode, which is actually like pretty hard to do. So I haven't played since I got to B-, so I haven't like tried getting up to B, but I should probably try getting up to B and then just call it quits, because after that, I mean, getting up to B- was hard enough, and it's not that like you're like I can finish at the top of of the leaderboard or whatever at the end of a match, but the problem is with ranked battles is they're so dependent on your team that like I'll finish say with 12 and 6, because kill death ratio actually really matters in ranked battle. Like, it's not just splatting the most ground, it actually matters like how well you do. So like I can finish with a 2-to-1 KD ratio, and then people on my team are going like 0-9 and 0-8, and then I lose the match, which is not very good. But so it's a pain in the butt, because you'll gain 10 points, and then if you lose a match, you lose 10 points, and it's a constant struggle to try to get up to the 100-point mark you need in order to rank up. But it's fun. I think the elite players who can play hours and hours and hours on end are really going to embrace the mode, especially once you start really getting to the top-tier players that are getting to rank A's, A+, which I don't even know if there are any, because every rank you level up, you're getting less points per match. So, for example, right now I'm B- rank, and every match I win, I get 10 points, and every match I lose 10 points. But when I was like rank C, for example, it was like, or C-, for example, I was getting 20 points every win, losing 10 every loss. Or when I got to C+, I was getting 12 every win, or losing 10 every loss. So I can't imagine it's probably even harder. Something else I've been playing Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold. That's the new Etrian Odyssey game that's coming out in a month or two. I can't really talk about it. And I've been playing a little bit of Saints Row for the PS4 version, because I got it for like $16, and it comes with the game plus like all the expansions plus Saints Row 3 expansions. And so I mean, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay.
How dare you?
Let's
so
see.
much fun running around in that game. Going like super speed, running past cars.
It is.
Making them fly all over the place.
I almost feel like too powerful in that game. Like, it's almost not even fun anymore, because I'm wrecking everything. But yeah, it's fun. And then, okay. I'm going to make a deal with you, Mike, the podcast listeners.
You had to think about it for a sec.
I'm going to be making a deal. I will have the Link to the Past complete by next podcast I'm on.
Oh, so, will you? Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay, now, I don't know about it either.
Don't you have to prep for E3 or something?
I do have to prep for E3, but I'm going to make it my purpose to play that game for the next few nights, say like 2 to 3 hours a night for the next, up until I go to E3, and I think I can finish it off.
It'll be a good plane ride, you know what I mean? Plane ride game if you don't finish by E3.
Except I don't have it on 3D, like it's not released on 3DS, it's only on Wii U, so I've got to play on the Wii U. But otherwise I would. So that's my goal. I'm hoping to have it done by E3. If not, I'll use the weekend after E3 to finish it. Because I'm already, like a quarter of the way through, and then I stopped like a year ago and never picked it up. But I'm like a quarter of the way through. I got to pick it up. I got to read up on a fact to figure out, like, catch me up to where I am again. And then I'll get the game done. What about you, Mike? What have you been up to?
Well, I just beat that Ho-Ho-Come game. Like, I just opened it up like an hour ago. Just beat all of the trophies. It was terrible. That's why indie games suck. And
Oh,
Santa
really?
Monica
I picked it up. I played it earlier today for like 10 minutes. I thought it was a really calm experience, but after I figured out I didn't know where to go, I kind of just stopped playing.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, I just died in Ollie 2, which I've been playing. I'm legit like 11 stars from getting everything. And so, like, it's Ollie 2 is such a good game. Other than that, of course, Smash, which I made like $300 this week, which is pretty good.
Mike.
I've been playing Counter-Strike Go. Oh, and One Piece Unlimited World Red for the PS3, not the 3DS or Vita version.
Yes, that game made good. I saw you got some trophies on like Facebook.
Yeah, you know, it is. Actually, I freaking love this game. It's not like Pirate Warriors, which is like shitty-ass Gundam Warrior, like, you know, Dynasty Warrior Gundam. Yeah, so this is actually like it's like an adventure kind of game. So, yes, it has like RPG and like some of that fighting kind of element things, like the way you think more of like, it wouldn't be like Devil May Cry, but at the same time, that's probably the closest thing I can think of it to it, because I mean, the way you fight in the overworld is like, you know, there's hordes of enemies and you're using combos of square, triangle, and circle, and special moves with R1. But you know, there's also there's a lot of RPG elements in it, and like you go fishing, you can go to, like, you can expand the town, and you can actually develop like new items or stuff to like power you up. And you only go out in sets of 3 teams where you can always switch to leaders, and each leader has a different skill, which makes you kind of go back to some levels, because like one part you could be with Zoro and cut down like a fence, but then it's like, oh, there's a hole there. You have to dig with Chopper, and it's like, oh, well, I got to come back here because I only came with like Luffy, Zoro, and like Usopp or something like that. So I mean, like, it seems like it's like short main story and a lot of stuff like around it. Yeah, because like it says I'm on like episode 4 already, and apparently it's only like 8 episodes. I mean, levels, like, obviously each level gets longer, but there's a ridiculous amount of side quests and just stuff to collect, and there's like a Coliseum mode, so I think that's like a boss battle mode.
So do you earn new moves, or how does the RPG
apparently, well, it says I do learn new moves because, but like, I don't know if it's from leveling up or like finding these things called strong words, which also give you attributes. Because when I was checking my, like, you know, guide moves, like, some of them were just question marks. So I'm like, I wonder if they, like, I just get them later on in the game, or you know, I just get them by leveling up. I think the max level is only like 40 or something like that.
So does it feel like it gets new things are added as you go through? Because I don't really, like, I like RPGs, but I don't like it when they're just like, we're going to give you numbers and you learn nothing, and there's no equipment or no
the only equipment is the strong words. So like, you can just get like, it's like really minor things, like, oh, it's gonna be like, oh, Luffy's like, I'm a rubber man, and I'll give you like plus 6% on all your attacks. But I mean, like, the platforming, like, kind of element, you don't jump that high, and the camera sucks for the, like, it just too zoomed into you. But I mean, the platforming is pretty good, and like, I love being around town because you can use Luffy's rubber arms, and you could grab stuff and launch yourself around town to make it really quick, like traveling. But like, with the RPG wise, it's pretty simple. Like, literally, like, after you beat like some hordes of enemies, like, you don't really know, like, you could be leveling up during a thing. Like, it's like so irrelevant to EXP and all that stuff. Like, it's not important. Like, obviously it's relevant, but it's not like, oh man, I need to grind to get better. Like, you could, like, you can easily beat, you can run through the game without ever opening up and checking your info and status.
Does it feel like it gets newer as you go along? Like, you get things added to you, or it's just like what you are at the start of the game is the same, and then...
Well, have you watched One Piece or read One Piece, or, you know, a little bit about it?
No. I've seen some gameplay footage of it, and I'm watching some...
For this game, like, it's kind of mainly after, like, the time skip, which is, like, 400 or 500 chapters in, I believe. And, I mean, it's, like, semi-spoilers, but not really. Like, it doesn't really dwell too much in the past, because it's the only reason that it's a continuation of the Red series. But, it does get new. It's not like I'm going through, like, every level, like, oh, here's a box I gotta fight. It's not like shitty Hyrule Warriors. Like, each level is different. Like, I went through Ennie's lobby, and it was pretty cool, because you start out outside the prison gates, then you go inside the town, like, and, you know, like, multiple pathways to get to one thing. So you'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna go back around and check the whole right side, you know? You can destroy elements outside to get, like, crafting materials, so, like, it's it's not shitty like Gundam Warriors. Like I only got it for PS3 because obviously trophies. But if I had a choice, I would get it for Wii U or 3DS.
Yeah, it looks cool. I'd like to try it.
Yeah, it's fun.
If I can get it for cheap.
Yeah, I think it is cheap now. Like I bought it originally when it was like 50 or 40, and now I sold it for like 25. But not too sure. Like it's been a while since I've like seen it. But also, I think that might have been the like day one edition. The only one that's not going down in price because it comes with some DLC mission. But like most of these export games go down pretty fast in price.
Oh yeah, it's $25. I can see it.
Yeah. See, I think cool. Like it's worth $25. I'm upset. I bought it. I'm upset to play it earlier, but it's damn fun, and it's not like it's gonna be like, oh, I'm done. Like like for me, I usually do like try to do like a mission a day or like a mission or 2 missions. But like there's so much extra stuff. Like I'll do a mission, and I'll be like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and by the time I realize it's been like 2 hours.
Hey, Mike, I have another question. It's not really related to One Piece, but after all of your winnings in Smash Brothers. I was wondering when you're planning on flying Mike and Matt. Damn it, Matt and myself out to New York. To hang out with you. Yeah, Mike left. He's like, nah.
He couldn't take it. He had enough of us.
And the call was dropped with him anyway. Wow. That was kind of weird. All right, Matt, what have you been playing while we try to get Mike back?
I was gonna say, so for ranked mode for Splatoon, do you only play like one specific mode?
Oh well,
like,
yeah.
Is it just because I know there's Splat Zone? So is that
that's what it is. It's Splat Zone. There's only one mode so far for ranked battle, and you try to cover the turf for. It'll be like in the middle of a map. It'll be like here's a rectangle, and you got to try to control it for as long as possible. And if you control it longer than the other team, then you get you kind of like get a certain amount of rank points. And then if you lose, then you get a certain amount. You lose a certain amount of rank points, and so that's kind of how it works.
Okay.
All right. Well, what have you been playing?
Mostly just Wonderful 101, and I actually finally played like a decent chunk of it rather than just like one level every week. So I'm enjoying it quite a bit. The camera kind of bugs me sometimes because you can't zoom out, and I hate it when they force you to use the gamepad when you go inside some buildings because you could have your gamepad laying flat and then it's all screwed up when you try to angle it, and that's just annoying. And drawing the hammer can be annoying. It'll mistake it for the whip. But no, I think it's really cool. So far, all of the, or I guess you call them weapons, all of the different weapons have like a second attribute, like sword can absorb lightning, and also you can like slash specific things or use it as a key. Whip can rip off like spikes. Hammer breaks through armor, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's pretty cool because each weapon has its own characteristics, and then you can use that to your advantage for however you want to combo. Like you could use the gun to fire off quick bullets, or if you want to shoot like a giant missile, you can do that. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I don't think it's as hard to draw as people were complaining about when it first came out. Maybe they were going through the game too quickly. I'm not technically drawing on the gamepad because I think that's stupid because you lose half of your hand that presses the buttons to attack with it. I just use the second joystick, but it's pretty easy to draw all the shapes so far, besides the hammer. Yeah, the only problem I have is... sorry, I'll cut you off. The only problem I have with drawing is that I bought the upgrade so that when you draw, it moves faster. And then when I tried to draw the hammer after that, it was hard because if you draw, you have to draw a straight line and then a circle. And if you draw in a straight line, it goes really quickly. And then you try to draw a circle and it either overlaps or mistakes it for a whip or you didn't complete it. So that one's annoying. But I think that's probably going to be the only shape that bugs me.
Yeah, I agree. Are you enjoying is the game hard for you at all? I don't know how far you are. Are you enjoying the difficulty? Because, it's kind of like a staple of the game.
I'm not doing well as far as the game's concerned. Like, I keep getting bronze. Some areas I'll get, like, platinum or gold. I don't know. I think it's just kind of trial and error. I'm not getting frustrated with, like, oh, man, this is so cheap. I keep getting killed from this guy or this guy most of the time. But I think it's pretty fair. You just gotta learn the pattern and definitely learn how to dodge at the right times.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any point where you're going to be like, oh my god, I hate that enemy, like that one specifically. Because if you've beaten it, then you know how to beat it in the future.
Yeah. The only problem is I have gotten stuck a couple of times where I'll get hit and then I try to do something and then I'll get hit again and get kind of pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently my problem is that as far as I read on some forums, you're not supposed to dodge and then try to quickly pick up all your enemies, because then they'll just kill you. So you're supposed to dodge and then, like, wait somewhere else for a second until they attack again and then pick them up, or until they, like, come to you. Yeah. But it's just a learning process, that's all.
Yeah.
But I have fun. There's a lot of cool weapons. It changes up a lot.
Yeah, I think the game is solid. Anything else?
Not really. I didn't really like the gun all that much. It seems too slow. Like, just shooting regular bullets.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the damage is very good either.
Yeah, I mostly just use a sword because it's wide ranged. Or, the whip is pretty cool. I forget. I think there's another weapon I use a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely worth checking out for people.
Yeah, and it's super cheap now.
I wouldn't necessarily trust all the reviews, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember when they first came out, compared to what I'm playing now, they seem a bit harsh.
Yeah, and they're super. The game is now super cheap, like low barrier to entry. I recommend people try it. Yeah. Alright, so I think now we can move. First, I want to do a prediction segment, and the only reason I say that is because I just wrote up an article on Nintendo Enthusiast about my 6 predictions. So I'll just go through those really quick, and then if you guys had any of yours or you want to comment on mine, I guess I have a little bit of the upper hand here since I actually had time to prepare, and I didn't ask you guys in advance. But so here are mine. Number 1, I said Nintendo does not reduce the price of the Wii U, but it might introduce a new bundle. I think there definitely will be a new bundle for the Wii U by the holiday. I just don't know whether that announcement is going to come at E3 or not. But I don't think there's going to be a price reduction of the Wii U of any sort. Number 2 is that Next Level Games is working on Punch-Out for the Wii U. And I think I've talked about that one previously on this podcast, just because their last game was Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. They've been hiring. They've working on a game for 2 years. They did Punch-Out on the Wii. I think it's about, you've had all these teases. Yeah, Little Mac and Smash Bros. I think it's about time. Number 3, I said that they reveal the new rewards program. Perhaps they talk about the unified accounts that they're going to put together, but they're just going to talk about this new system that they're going to be implementing. Number 4 is a new Metroid game for the 3DS. And I said, as always, I just say that's because the install base for the 3DS is so much bigger. Retro Studios has obviously been working on something, etc. Number 5, the new 3DS gets new exclusive, but it's going to be another remake. So I didn't really predict. I thought it was probably going to be either The Last Story of Pandora's Tower, but I think it's also possible it might be something even more obscure like Sin and Punishment or even like Trauma Team, just like some really obscure Wii game just to bring back. And then number 6 is that Super Mario Wave 2 is announced, including Rosalina and Donkey Kong. So those are my 6 predictions. I think that they're all pretty safe. Like, I don't think I had any out there predictions. I don't know. Do you guys, I guess it's a little free. Do you guys have any predictions maybe to add? Do you disagree? First of all, do either of you two really disagree with any of my predictions? No?
What if they had Metroid 3DS and Wii U?
Oh my god.
They connected somehow. That would be weird.
In a not cheap way to make it use as only a controller.
Yeah. In like a useful way.
Yeah, I don't know if they have enough resources to announce both. There's some people that are
No,
convinced
I
they're announcing
was
both.
just making jokes.
I know, but there's some
You
people.
probably get to play Woolly World over there because it's coming out in Europe.
Oh my god,
soon.
it's coming out in Europe at the end of June, and I'm so excited for that game, and I'm pissed off that it's not coming to the US before fall. Like, I couldn't give two craps about Mario Maker. I'm sorry, I know there are a lot of people excited for it. I don't care about Mario Maker. I'm not a creative type. I don't really care about playing other people's levels. I just want Woolly World, and they just keep delaying it, and it's making me very sad.
Yeah, well, you'll get to play it next week, man. So it's all good.
And all the amiibo costumes look really cool. They showed off like Sonic and Ness recently.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like I want to see them all.
Yeah. What about it, you guys? Any predictions? I know we've done this in the past, the last few weeks, but this is the week. This is E3 is in less than 7 days. You guys have anything?
Well, mine doesn't change from. It doesn't change Star Fox, man. It doesn't. You know what? There's going to be a Star Fox R-Wing amiibo. That's it. You heard it here first, man. Cool. You heard. It would be. It's not going to happen, but whatever. Wait, when does the Falco amiibo come out?
That hasn't been listed yet.
Yeah, they don't know. It's not even been announced yet. What about you, Matt? Mike fails to change his opinions. He's already stated everything. You got anything you want to add?
You were talking about. I almost gave it away. You were talking about bundles. What if they finally did a Smash Bros. Bundle? Because I'm assuming they didn't do one at Christmas because they wanted people to, buy the actual game so they wouldn't lose a sale on it. But now that it's been quite a few months, do you think they'll announce a Smash Bundle for like the fall or something and say, hey, look, here's a Smash Bundle. It comes with a Pro Controller and a GameCube controller or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe even like a Wii U Essentials bundle or whatever, and it'll be Smash Bros. And Mario Kart.
Yeah, I don't know if they bundle both of those, but that would be crazy.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just brainstorming here, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you guys? So they also announced this new Nintendo Direct that's going to be this Sunday, which is 2 days before the actual Nintendo Direct. It's going to be really short, but. Mike, you're the Smash guy here. What sort of announcements do you think they're going to make at the Smash Direct?
Well, it's rumored that I think on the 14th or that Direct that they're going to release patch notes, so that's going to be cool. So we won't have to have the fan base, constantly looking for what the hell's going on. What happened with each character and everything. Well, I don't know if Nintendo will do it like right, so that'll probably still happen. But my guess is, they're gonna show off how Lucas has no customs, and or surprise, they're gonna announce Mewtwo's custom. That would be pretty cool, actually. Probably just show how Miiverse stage kind of functionality works. Maybe they could open up another a poll for like 3DS levels that should make it to the Wii U, even though it's really doubtful, but it'd be kind of cool because I think the 3DS has some good levels that could make it to the Wii, that should make it to the Wii U. But honestly, I think they're gonna give us one of those like 40-minute ones, like here's Lucas and here's all the costumes and blah blah blah.
Do you think they'll announce a new character?
I never really thought about that because they're putting out a character, but they did do that with. No, they didn't do that with the Mewtwo announcement, right?
Yeah, they did. They put Lucas at the end.
No, but remember the first one was really like we're working on Mewtwo kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but that was like before launch.
All right, well, if they do that, like it'll probably be another Brawl Boy, or it might be Roy then. My guess will be Roy, but don't count any Brawl guys.
All right. Yeah, I think it's short. I think it's like 20 minutes. Because the Nintendo Direct starts at like not right at the hour. It's like 2:40 or something like that. Like it's
it's
like
7:40.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be maybe like a 20-minute Direct. I don't think it'll be a very long one.
Wait, their Direct is. So what's happening after the Smash thing? Because why would it start at 7:40?
Well, isn't that maybe after the Nintendo World Championships, or is that?
Maybe.
Yeah, because the World Championships are that day too. So I don't know. I don't even know the schedule.
Let me see. Championship. No, that's. Where's the day?
Leave it to Matt. They're both on the same day, but I don't know.
It doesn't say the day, but it says it starts at 2:30. It starts in the afternoon.
Okay, so maybe
the championship. So that's
maybe it's after the championships. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. It's weird that they're taking the 14th. That's also the same day Bethesda's conference is, and I don't think anyone's going to give two shits about Nintendo on Bethesda's day when they got Fallout 4. Poor Nintendo.
I'm hoping they show off maybe a couple of stages or something. I'm sure they have something new, because there wouldn't be a point of having a director being like, look, it's Lucas, me versus Splatoon costumes, and we already gave it away.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's got to be something new. Maybe show off tournament mode or something. Or tease the next character.
I forgot that was coming.
Oh, yeah. I forgot tournament mode wasn't it long. That annoyed the hell out of me when it first came out, the fact that there wasn't any tournament mode.
Yeah.
You know what
another thing people keep saying?
There's no, in PM, Project M, there's a, you know when you press start, you can hit LRA and start to restart the thing? In PM, they have a way where you can just restart the whole match instead. You know what I mean? Like, right from there. You don't have to go back to the menus and all that. Like, you can just restart the fight. Yeah, and it's like, come on, Nintendo. Like, they got rid of the retry button in the events mode. Like, you know, like, come on, man. It's 2015.
Oh, yeah. No, that pissed me off. Because I had to exit the dumb mode to go back to the same event. Like,
But this is Nintendo you're talking about. For them, this is 1995.
Yeah, but they did this with the previous game.
Yeah, and in 1995, the N64 didn't even exist, so use a better year, really.
Everyone else is moving forward, Nintendo's moving backwards.
I will say, I hope that they have, like, a YouTube function or some sort of video upload function, like, because we found data they tried to do it before, and it would be nice if they had something, because I forgot when I updated with Mewtwo that all my replays were busted, and the replays I had were for like a video, and I'd have to do them all over again. Like, and now I'm not even going to bother recording it until like after Lucas, because I know there's going to be an update for that. It's like, please.
Yeah,
like, I just save it to a hard drive. Like, that's all. Because if I sit there and wait for it to upload, it's going to take like 5 hours. Because Mario Kart 10 takes like 10 minutes to upload 30 seconds. So just let me download it to the hard drive, and I'll do what I want with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Put your codec on it to scan it and know that it's your footage on YouTube. I don't care. I just want the file.
Man, Matt's about to cry.
Because then I got to record the stupid gamepad screen.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the reason why they had to delete the replays I heard is because it plays out the game. Like, it's not like a so it's the actual game going on.
Yeah, it actually records your inputs, but that's what bugs me. It's like, can you just save a file on the hard drive that it's a video, and then I can... Then we won't have this problem.
It's like, can you just give me a normal replay like in Madden? I really don't...
Come on.
That's why you can't, like, rewind anything. Like, you actually have to quit out of the replay.
Yeah.
Alright. I think we could move into some news. So other than that Nintendo Direct. So first of all, we got Amiibo. And there are counterfeit Amiibo appearing online from Brazil. And that's totally understandable because Nintendo has exited the Brazilian market. We already knew about this. Flea talked about it a little bit when this was first announced. And so Amiibo, the import Amiibo are like $50 a piece. And they're still kind of sold out, and it's ridiculous. So it makes a lot of sense that there are counterfeits. Another piece of Amiibo news, I guess the last piece of Amiibo news, since Matt decided to only put 3 on here.
That's all I got.
There's
always some other thing that was posted today, but I didn't.
There was always Amiibo news. GameStop may not take pre-orders on future Amiibo, and that's because last time it was just so disastrous. And then this time when they went into, when Wave 4 came out, there were literally only like 0 or 1 Lucina per store, and it was just really bad. Nintendo's confirmed that the NX won't use Android, which is, this announcement came literally like 6 hours after we recorded the last podcast. Natsumi is interested in Amiibo. Hey, that should go under Amiibo news. If Nintendo would work with them. But I don't think Natsumi's going to get any Amiibo. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think when companies are saying like they're interested in Amiibo, I think it might just be support. Like supporting whatever Amiibo's available, not necessarily like creating their own.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Because I doubt they'll like actually be able to partner with Nintendo to make their own based off of their property, because they would have to be a huge company, like, worth producing them.
Yeah.
So.
Natsumi has announced C3 games. Number 1, it announced Harvest Moon Seeds of Memories. I'm incredibly skeptical on this game, because the last Harvest Moon game by Natsumi got, like, panned by critics. I think currently has, like, a 40 average on Metacritic. The game sold like crap. Nobody knows anything about it. All that jazz. And this was announced for the Wii U, Steam, Android, and iOS. So I don't think this is going to work out for anyone.
What game?
Harvest Moon Seeds of Memories.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, Harvest Moon is, like, kind of throwback-ish. Like, people still know the series, so...
Yeah, but the thing is, this isn't even the real series. This is the new one that Natsumi's developing. If you remember, the real Harvest Moon is now called Story of Seasons. And I don't know if Mike has this news on here, but... God damn it. I don't know if Matt... I don't even...
The name is on the screen, Eli.
I'm not looking at the screen. I'm looking at the word...
Will he ever learn?
I'm looking at the word...
Should I change my display pic to my face?
I'm looking at the Word document. I'm not looking at your face. Although, I know who you guys are. I don't know why, like, my brain is instinctively just saying... I think...
My mom doesn't even confuse me with my brother-in-laws, Mark and Mike. So I think you can make a bit of effort.
Oh, great. I'm glad I don't know you better than your mother. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, my sisters and my brother-in-laws and everyone else can get our names.
Okay, yeah, I'm terrible. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But, okay, so I don't know if Matt has that on here, but there was a new Story of Seasons game announced for localization. It's called Popola Croix, Story of Seasons, and it was originally Japanese. We never really thought it would come over, but I forgot what the basis was, but it's like a mix of two, Harvest Moon and another franchise, and it's coming here, of course, A Story of Seasons, so that's the actual new Harvest Moon game, and then this one by Natsumi is like their wannabe Harvest Moon game.
So is it like the creator made their own studio, or...
So, like... What happened is that Xseed picked up the rights to publish Harvest Moon in America, so they want to publish it, except Natsumi holds the trademark for Harvest Moon in America, and Natsumi did not give up that trademark. So, in order for Xseed to publish the game in America, they had to come up with a new name, which is Story of Seasons, and then Natsumi pretty much said, well, we want to develop our own Harvest Moon, and they're kind of crappy, and... It's kind of ruining the name a little bit, unfortunately.
So that's how... Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And a douche move from the Company B.
Yeah, kind of douchey from Natsumi. Their other games for E3 are Ninja Strike, don't even know what that is. Gotcha Racing does not sound...
It's a top-down racing game based off of, like, Japanese gotcha. Basically, balls.
Okay. And
you know what they are, the toy, crap, I forget what you call it. You put a quarter in it and you spin it around and you get like a toy that comes out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Those things, yeah.
Okay. And then Brave Tank Hero. Don't know what that is either.
It's basically the Mario Party 2 game where you're all tanks and shooting each other.
Oh, so it's a mini
That's what
game.
I got.
Okay. Yeah, Natsumi's not in a good place right now. I'm sorry.
Do you think, since... the Harvest Moon game is on Wii U and smartphones that, like, it'll use Dina's account system?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so, just because I don't think Nintendo has that infrastructure set up for itself, let alone for third parties to utilize. I think this game will be out in the fall. Like, I don't think Nintendo's going to have it ready for outside companies to take advantage of it. Since unless Natsumi is working directly with DNA, so that's my thought.
They're probably not that.
Yeah. So this other stuff. Nintendo apparently had plans for cell phone game development as early as the year 2000, but scrapped it because they didn't like the quality of the games, which makes sense. GameStop Expo is returning this year, and Nintendo will be attending, which is good. I think it's great whenever Nintendo makes pretty much a presence anywhere. That's always great. Mario Maker Best Buy events will take place on June 17th and June 20th. Different times each day. Just go online, check out when they're going to be available. You can go to your Best Buy, play some Mario Maker. I'm sure the lines will be pretty long, though, again, because it takes a while to design a Mario level and to play through a Mario level. So, I don't know.
I think, well, it won't be Smash long, though. So.
What?
It won't be as long as last year because of Smash.
Well, last year, I think, no, 2 years ago was the one where they had 4 different games. And there was like Wind Waker, and you had time to go through a whole dungeon, and that took a long time. Another piece of news, Splatoon has been recreated in Minecraft. Just look it up in Google. It's a really cool video, but it's like a Minecraft Splatoon mod. It was a cool video. I just say look it up. This is the big news, though. Splatoon has been selling really, really well. In Europe, on its debut week, it took second place. It ranked right behind The Witcher. This week, it got 4th place. So for the second week, like usually games on the Wii U fall out of the top rankings after the first week. It's been on the top 10 for 2 weeks now. It broke the record for the best-selling new IP for the Wii U, beating out Zombie U. In Japan, it had a 97% sell-through rate. So 97% of all the games and 90% of all the amiibo were sold out in Japan, which is incredible if you think about it. That game is doing gangbusters. I think sales also, whenever I go in an online match, there are always at least half the people in the match that are from Japan. I think that sales there were really, really good. I don't think even Nintendo expected sales there to be really good, but it's just kind of really positive to see this new IP doing so well in Japan. It didn't really sell very many Wii U's. Only like 17,000 Wii U's were sold or something. But I guess the people that own a Wii U went and all bought it.
Yeah, because apparently some people are having trouble finding it in Japan, too.
Yeah, it's like impossible to find because, as I said, 97% sold out of the stock. So
I wonder if they just didn't produce that many copies for Japan.
Yeah, they probably just didn't expect it to sell very well. I mean, Xenoblade, which is a very, very Japanese-centric game, sold 100,000 in its first week. And here's Splatoon, which is more of a Western-style game, and it sold 150K and sold out everywhere. So I just don't think they were expecting that.
Well, they also actually advertised it.
That's true.
So that helps.
Yeah. They've actually been running a very aggressive advertising campaign for Splatoon.
No, you can't go anywhere on the internet without seeing an ad for, like, look, they made a Splatoon, like, racetrack or whatever, obstacle course, or like, some Yogurties or whatever has, like, Splatoon ice cream for the summer, and other places, like, it's all over the place.
Yeah, they
so good on them for actually pushing it.
Yeah, and even obscure places where you wouldn't think of, like the game truck or whatever. I don't know if you heard about this, but it's like this truck where people can rent out for birthday parties that arrives with, Xbox Ones, PS4s, Wii U's, and all the kiddos in the birthday party can play various games. And Nintendo first of all, they spray painted all the trucks with Splatoon, Splatoon ads. But they also, now every single game truck has like 2 Wii U's with Splatoon on it. So they're even obscure marketing, which I think is really working in their favor. Yeah, I don't think Wii U sales were all that great. I don't think it sold Wii U's, but I think they're setting the base, kind of like the building blocks for a massive franchise in the future.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say with the people who like the Splatoon market, the people already have the Wii U that wanted that game, so it's like I don't think Wii U's are gonna move because of Splatoon. You know, it's gonna sell well software wise, but I don't think it's moving hardware. It's like
but I think it's important for them to sell the software because all the other new IPs or like third party games. I mean, I think Devil's Third is gonna sell terribly. Bayonetta 2 sold okay. Wonderful 101 sold terribly. Zombie U sold okay.
Well, I mean, that game is terrible.
Well, I think the point is that it's very impressive that, Nintendo fans usually don't buy new games. They buy games that they're familiar with. And the fact that this is doing so well, I think, is very good for Nintendo's future in terms of, Codename Steam sold, like 30,000 units in its first month?
Yeah, I was going to say, to an argument or playing devil's advocate to your point about they won't buy new games, they only buy Nintendo games. But I was like, wait, didn't Codename Steam sell kind of iffy? So it's not really they only buy Nintendo games. They just happen to buy this.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome that they're doing well. I mean, I picked up the game a few weeks ago, or like a week and a half ago, and I'm really happy with that decision too. So here's something. So Nintendo is inviting So E3 this year is letting in a certain amount of the public, 5,000 people, which is about 10% increase in attendance over the year before. We talked about this last week, I think. And companies based off their booth space get a certain amount of tickets. Nintendo is inviting content creators, so YouTube personalities, to E3. So on one hand, it's like, man, Nintendo, you get it. You want people to cover your games. You understand that this is like free advertising. On the other hand, they didn't lift ads yet. Like, come on, Nintendo. Like, if you're going to go part way, you might as well go all the way. Just take off, let people produce their own content on YouTube. But it's nice that they're inviting people. Those lines are going to be longer, unfortunately, but there's not really much we can do about that. I don't know. The interesting thing is, like, we know they're moving E3 next year to a new city. We don't know where, but I don't know. Did we talk about this last week?
No, I didn't even hear about that.
Before we go into that, and you said they invited the content creators, or it's more like...
Yeah, they invited them. They sent invites out.
Yeah, I figured, because one of my friends said he was going to E3, and he's got like 98,000 subs, and I'm all like,
Yeah, they invited people. Although now it's easier to get into E3 if you're on YouTube. There's before there wasn't a YouTube application process. You had to be part of a website. Now there's actually you can go if you're part of a YouTube channel, which is a little different than it was in previous years. But so here's the thing: next year they're moving E3. It's no longer in LA. It's going to be, my guess is Chicago. But as I saw, there were some of the cities they were thinking about were New York, Chicago,
Texas?
I don't think Texas, but there were 4 major cities they were thinking about.
I know the GameStop one's in Texas.
Yeah, well, they moved it. Now it's in Las Vegas. But so they're moving it, and this brings are they going to be changing E3? Which I think is a huge deal, because before it's only open to members of the industry. So usually, you got 3 sections. You got the exhibitors, the developers. You got the press, which is the people covering the games, and then you got the actual members of the industry, those that are either developers that didn't get booth space or those that work for a retail chain. Because really, E3 is a trade show, so it's mostly for people like GameStop to go and be like, well, how much stock of this are we going to order, et cetera, et cetera. So this year they're letting in the public. They haven't done this in 10 years. Last time...
How does that work? Because it just said they're letting the public in based off of certain companies, but how do they get an invite?
So I guess E3... So Nintendo, for example, I guess is inviting YouTube creators. Another company might be doing a contest or something. Or if it's someone like, Ubisoft, and they want to get really buddy-buddy with GameStop or whatever, they'll be like, well, here's some tickets, and then GameStop would go and give it to their employees or whatnot. It just kind of depends.
Shouldn't we have heard of this by now? Because E3 is in
a
week.
So I'm thinking
people would have to know how many days they need off and whatnot.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it might be a little more closed than they're making it seem like. But, last time this happened was 10 years ago, and E3's attendance, I think, at its height was 80,000, 90,000, and then, of course, there was a collapse. E3 kind of fell in upon itself, and the next year was a really small show. And not even in LA, it was in Santa Monica, I think, something like that. So this raises the question, is this just going to be a thing now where it's just 5,000 people, whatever, just 10% boost in attendance? Or is this indicative, like this is a test run for next year, where maybe they will actually open the show to the public in a new venue? They've been talking about how they think that the LA Convention Center is a little run down, a little small, even though I think it's massive, because LA Convention Center is giant. Maybe they rent out a convention center in Chicago that's just absolutely massive. Maybe they have enough space for the public. I don't really know. At first I was a little salty about this because I was just afraid the lines would get longer, and me being selfish, I don't want to wait in lines. But I've actually been in contact with a lot of the publishers, and they're kind of letting the press cut lines, so it's not really a concern of mine anymore because I can kind of just cut and be a dick.
Because then you can feel superior now.
I can be a dick and just cut people. But I don't know about.
I was gonna say, it sounds like they're kind of going for like that Comic-Con format where they're just gonna have everybody in, and then there's also press badges. Like I just got my press badge for Comic-Con like literally 7 hours ago. But inviting thing, I also heard that was gonna happen because this guy I know, Fatal Strike, he was a Gears of War 1 pro player, and he got invited from Microsoft to come to E3. So there's a spoiler there. Gears of War 8 is coming. But it's I could see their reason why they're going to do that. They're probably going to open up to the public in a way that it's hey, now you can buy your E3 thing. Let's make money off this. San Diego Comic-Con is the biggest convention ever, and it still has press badges and people can buy in, but it sells out in 3 seconds. Hopefully they don't make the public part too big, but we'll see what they're going to do. And also, it might Eli, what you think is big is pretty small for New York, man. So,
LA Convention Center is massive. It's 2 centers in one because both those halls are ginormous. When I walked in, it felt like the biggest building I had ever been in. And I don't know, maybe I just haven't been. I haven't been to very many cons. I haven't been to PAX. I haven't been to Comic-Con, so I don't really know. Maybe that was just the smaller of the big beasts. I don't know. What about? So my question to you guys. I mean, Mike, I guess, is starting to get press passes to places. But do you guys want it to be open to the public? Do you think that's good for the industry? Would you guys want to go?
Yeah, I definitely want to go. I guess the problem is just how much is too much, and if you just say everyone can go, will it be too crowded and whatnot? But I guess they could close that off by charging for tickets, and I guess if you charge enough, you'll cut out a bunch of people.
Well, because they already do that. They have, if you're a member of the public, you can buy a ticket. It's $1,000, which is
$995.
Yeah, it's expensive. So if someone
weird, I thought you couldn't get in unless you were part of it, but then they cover your ticket, so I didn't really get that either.
Yeah, you're free if you're a member of the industry. If you're not part of the industry, it's called a VIP program or whatnot, and it's $1,000 to get in. So if someone really, really, really wants to go and wait in all the lines, they can buy a ticket.
Well, I think the upside of letting the public in is that it'll let more people know about all of these games, because then everyone will be taking videos and whatnot and uploading it to their channels rather than solely through major websites. So more publishers will get more coverage of these games because more people are showing it off. The only problem is that for those sites, then less people are going to their sites because they can get it from other people. But I guess the quality is probably going to be higher with websites.
Yeah, and I mean, E3 is really corporate. There's no denying it. I was there last year, and I talked to a lot of indie developers who couldn't even get into the conference. They didn't get badges approved as indie developers, which really, really sucks. Hands down, it sucks. There are whole indie events that take place in LA, but not in the show floor. On the outside, they'll rent a hotel or something because they can't get into E3.
That sucks.
So I think first before maybe inviting the public in. I think maybe that's an eventual step, maybe letting 10,000 members. I think with a bigger hall, 10,000 members is really manageable. Maybe do it first come, first serve. The most dedicated fans, 10,000 people would get in. But I think step one is making it more industry inclusive, getting, inviting indie developers, letting them in so that, they don't have to be part of the mega booth. And if they don't, those indie developers don't get a spot in the mega booth, they just don't even get into E3, which sucks. I had developers sending me emails to ask to show off their indie game in a coffee shop because they can't bring it to E3, which is just terrible. So I think maybe they need to stop catering to just the big guys on the block. Or even, it's hard to find. Okay, so there are certified hotels in the E3 block. There are 12 hotels, which are quote-unquote certified E3 hotels. They provide shuttle service to and from the convention center. They provide amenities, etc. In order to get into one of these hotels, you either have to be a bigwig developer or a bigwig conference person, or bigwig press person. If you're someone like me, and it's not a huge complaint because it's cheaper this way anyway, you can't stay in those main hotels. You have to go and book outside of that. And if you're even a big indie developer or a small AAA developer like Natsumi, you cannot get in the hotel block. You are excluded from that. So it's a really corporate system. I've heard a lot of complaints about it. And so I think before maybe expanding it to the public, they should first think about making it more inclusive for actual members of the industry.
Yeah.
That was my little.
Well, they could also pay to be exhibitioners. So.
Well, yeah, but a lot of the indies don't have money for that. That's why you have that mega booth where all the indies pitch in to try to get some space. But it's when they can't even get passes. They don't even can't show off their game, but they want to go to E3 and they're a member of the industry, but they can't even get a pass.
Yeah.
Which I think is a problem. Let's see.
Before you say your second news, I found one piece of Amiibo news that was stuck to something else. It's probably garbage, but Amazon Germany listed Captain Toad Amiibo. I think it's probably fake because it's 6 months since it came out and 3 months after their Amiibo update with just regular Toad, so it wouldn't really make sense to be here's Captain Toad and
yeah, I agree with you.
This game released half a year ago, unless they're making DLC for it, but I kind of doubt that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a little weird. Oh, the one other thing I wanted to talk about E3 is the way that press, just in case anyone was interested, the way that press works, getting a press pass if anyone was interested, they're running their own site. So the way that it works is that you get one badge for every 10,000 unique views a month on your site. So in the case of our site, so this is a good and a bad thing. Number one, it's good because 10,000 is a relatively low number, I think. Your website, if you ran an okay website, you could probably pull in 10,000 a month, because that's 300 hits a day, and you could go to E3, which is good. It's inclusive. But on the other hand, it opens it up a little bit too much from what I was reading, in that, for example, if we decided to bring every single person we wanted for Nintendo enthusiasts, we could bring 40 people. And that is a lot for one website. And so I think that rule is a little bit off in that respect, because we're hearing about websites actually bringing 20 to 30 people, which is really ridiculous.
Well, I guess if you have a huge website like IGN, you have a bunch of teams covering different
but
IGN of the show at one time,
gets 60
so
million. IGN gets 60 million hits a month. If they wanted to, they could bring 6,000 people. Yeah, no, I totally understand. Some websites need 20 to 30 people, but man, if we brought 20 to 30 people, that'd be screwed up.
That would suck if you didn't get to 20,000, because if there's only one of you, who's going to record? You're going to record in one hand or in your neck and then try to play the game?
Well, what do you mean?
I don't know how recording works.
Oh, you mean video?
Yeah.
Okay, so
because I know there's people like I saw your website before where you have a cameraman that records you guys with your impressions.
Yes.
But then there's also people who get footage of the game. So they put it on a USB.
Yeah. So what happens is not everyone. So first of all, a lot of sites only send one person. So they're usually there just for writing purposes. They don't even do any video content. They just write. In the case of our site, we're really fortunate because we have a guy named Jason who bought a really, really nice camera, like a $1,500 camera, for the sole purpose of this, really. And they're actually bringing a cameraman along this year whose sole purpose is to grab video. So we're just fortunate because we have a big site. We can get a pass for a cameraman.
Yeah.
But there are people like, for example, oh my god, what's the guy's name? Who's the guy that does 1 minute reviews on YouTube?
Pro Jared. I thought you were gonna say it.
Pro Jared, yeah. So I saw Pro Jared last year, and he works alone. He brings a tripod, and he just walks around with the tripod and his camera. And when he wants to do a video, he just puts the tripod down, puts the camera on there, and speaks into it. So he's working alone, and so I think it's manageable. If someone really wants to get video content, you don't really need a second player. But yeah, it's definitely a lot easier if you're, and I mean, Pro Jared could probably get a pass for a second person if you want or a third or a fourth. His channel's big, but he I guess is one of those guys that just likes to do it on his own.
And so how do you actually get footage from the game itself?
So most of the footage is off screen.
Okay.
So you can, like, while you're playing, you can have a camera, but you're usually required to have the controller in the screen and the TV so that they know that it's not like pre-rendered, I guess, and that it's off screen. Usually,
okay, so only big sites actually get like on-screen footage.
Yeah, very rarely do sites even get on-screen footage. I mean, IGN does, I guess, because they actually come to their booth where everything's set up that way. But we don't, like, last year, for example, we just had video running while I was playing, like, Hyrule Warriors, for example, and then we uploaded that, like, here's some Zelda gameplay, in case anyone is curious how the Zelda character works. There was... Usually, most of the video stuff is like impressions, like a conversation. IGN does that all the time. We did that last year. And then, but there's stuff that you can't even, like, for example, some stuff there is just like a theater presentation. Like, it's not even you can play the game. Like, for example, this year I've got a Deus Ex presentation scheduled where I'm going to go into a movie theater and watch, I guess, a demonstration of the game for 30 minutes where I don't even get to touch a controller. And there's not really a point in actually recording that because we're not playing, and that's probably going to be online anyway. So, yeah.
Well, most of the time, those aren't usually online, to be honest. Like, I was at a Killing Floor 2, like, pre-Expo, before it came out, and we had to go in a room, and, you know, it was like, oh, like, here it is, and I was out there when Troy Baker when he was announced as the Joker for Arkham, whatever the hell, the third one. And it was like, those aren't ever, like, ever leaked, which bothers the crap out of me. Like, it'll be written down, or, like, maybe someone will get a crappy hand recording of it, which I never understood, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get that. Like,
yeah, it depends.
I think you want to be there during the conference part and, like, have that part recorded.
They're really strict about it sometimes, where they'll be like, no footage, and, like, you don't want to piss off Nintendo.
Yeah, I know. So one time, actually, some dude had a camera, and they saw the red light, and the guy's like, oh, you gotta turn off that camera. Like, legit on the mic, he's like, I can't speak no more until that's turned off. And then I had security come take off the camera and everything.
Yeah.
Like, they do live blogs and stuff, which they did for Pac-Man's reveal for Smash. Which was, I don't know. I don't really understand in today's day and age why you would allow them to live blog it, but not show video. Because you're still getting the information anyway, and they're just going to release it. So that's weird.
It's strange. But I hope our listeners anyway, and you guys got a little bit of insight, I guess, to E3. And honestly, if you're not looking to go to see a big game, the lines aren't really that long. Like, I remember last year, sure, Batman had like a 3-hour line, and so did Mortal Kombat. Like. But, for example, a game like Borderlands, the pre-sequel, which is a pretty big game, right? Borderlands had a line that took 20 minutes to get through, which isn't bad at all. I played Sunset Overdrive, big game, took 20 minutes to get through. Nintendo, don't even get me started. That stuff was like 5-minute wait times. I'm sorry. Other than Splatoon. Splatoon had a large line. So, I mean, I think just to round out this E3 chat, I guess, I think more people is doable, especially if developers actually start bringing more consoles and more TVs, which I think is also very doable, just bringing more stands if it's going to be a bigger space. And I don't think the lines are necessarily going to be a huge problem because it's just... Like, I was even able to play Morpheus last year, and that line took like 10 minutes. So I guess I want to get through this few pieces of news really quick. If there's anything, guys, you want to stop on, just stop me, okay? Ukulele is going to be bigger than Banjo-Kazooie, which surprised a lot of people because to back it, it's only $15. But what they said is pretty much that this Kickstarter price is an exclusive Kickstarter price, and the price is probably going to go up after they actually launch the real game. Renegade Kid announces that Zeo Drifter is coming to Wii U. That's, of course, it's a pretty well-known indie studio. Tomorrow Corporation reveals a new game. It's called the Human Resource Machine. It's from the makers of Little Inferno and, what's the game called? Goo? World of Goo?
Yeah.
Both games are really good. I think, like, whenever I think about Little Inferno, it's easily one of my favorite indie games on the Wii U. It's just so good. I don't know if anyone else here played it. Did anyone else play Little Inferno?
I played it. It was alright.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person. For me, the message was just very, very strong, like of consumerism and all that. So I think it's going to be, and it looks like it's going to be another disturbing story. And I'm psyched. Like, I only now saw this news, and I'm really happy about that. I really like their games. Little Inferno is just, it blew my mind at the end of that game, you know? Sakurai, we already talked about his event. Action Hank is a new kind of like platformer from Courage Digital coming to Wii U this summer. Capcom has hired a new Mega Man manager. They just announced the new game, Mega Man Legacy Collection, coming to 3DS. Has 1 through 6 Mega Man games, new challenge mode, museum with concept art and sketches. Mike, would you be picking this up? You sound like the Mega Man type of guy.
The Mega Man Legends 1 through 6 game?
Yeah, it's 1 through 6, comes with the challenge mode, museum mode, leaderboards.
Yeah, I already have the anniversary, though, collection.
Oh.
It says 1 through 8 for, you know, like...
But it's only $15.
Meh. I wouldn't... You know, I don't buy anything. So it's like, you know, I only buy Mario, that's it. Mario or Sonic, man. I can't spend, again, for the same game I have, like, 7 more times, man.
So
unless it's Super Mario 3.
So here's some stuff. There's been a Wii U firmware update. It just says more stability. But to be fair, there was also a 3DS update really recently, like 3 days ago. So there's some speculation that perhaps this is related and maybe related to an E3. Same thing with Xbox. Xbox just had an update and they pretty much said that it has to do with E3. So maybe there's going to be some during E3. Some new.
Possibly. It's weird because usually they'll have an update like the night before an event, but this is like a week.
Yeah.
So
maybe they're prepping some. Ready at Dawn is prepping a Nintendo NX game? ? Pretty much what Matt has prepared here is that they're working on a new engine that's going to work on Xbox One, PC, and one unannounced platform. Why is PS4 not there? That's weird.
Because it's already on PS4.
Oh, okay. And one
they made the order.
Oh yeah. And one unannounced platform. So someone said it could be a Steam machine, but Valve has already announced a Steam machine, so could be the NX, which I don't think it is. I think it's something else. I'm sorry, Nintendo's dead in so many people's eyes. It's sad, and I don't think Nintendo is at that point with the NX to where it is shipping out dev kits. I don't think that's a thing yet. That's
just what someone wrote as the title. I'm not sure what other platform they would have it on. Like, I don't know, like the NVIDIA Shield or something, but that doesn't seem like they would have an engine for that. I don't know. I couldn't really think of what other platforms they could have their engine on.
I mean, maybe like Oculus Rift. I don't know. The reason if that's even another platform. The reason I say that is because, I mean, if we're thinking the Wii U or the NX is coming out in 2017, and I still think it may come out in 2016, maybe, they delayed Zelda to port it. Let's say it comes out in 2017, which I think is the general consensus.
Yeah.
Those dev kits aren't going to be out until at least halfway through 2016. They won't even know what their final specs are until closer to launch. So I don't think that we're at that point where Ready at Dawn could be prepping something for the NX.
Well, the only thing is, they do have to give someone dev kits early enough so they can have a game for launch, right?
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, because on one hand, you could say maybe they're handing them out earlier so they have better games at launch or something, or more games or whatever. But on the flip side, it's it's could be just too early that anything could change with their hardware. I know when people work on games for unannounced platforms, hardware is always changing, but it might still be too early to the point that something could dramatically change. I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't think this is necessarily big news yet. Platinum Games, last one, is set to reveal a new game at E3 on Tuesday, Nintendo's Day. And so what we're thinking, and by we're I mean me and all the other delusional Nintendo fans that buy into this, is that it's going to be Vanquish 2 as a Wii U exclusive. Now, I don't really think that's what it is. It's probably Devil May Cry 5 as a multi-platform game not coming to the Wii U. But, the hope is there. Platinum's been opened with exclusives recently. They said Nintendo's treating them really, really well. I think it's too soon for Bayonetta 3. That game came out last year. So, I think that Vanquish 2 could be possible, or Devil May Cry. I think maybe
Scalebound is their Xbox One game, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's potential. It probably is for another platform, at least, if not multi-platform.
Yeah, I think there's maybe a 20% chance it's a PS4 exclusive, 20% chance it's a Wii U exclusive, and 60% chance it's a multi-plat game not coming to the Wii U.
Yeah. If anything, I would think it's multi-platform, and then whether it comes to Wii U as well is an option. Because after Bayonetta and Wonderful 101, I doubt they want to do another Wii U exclusive.
Although, on the flip side, maybe that means that they know the infrastructure really well. Maybe they already know how to get games to run on it,
Yeah. The only reason I would think it might be a sequel to Wonderful 101 or Bayonetta is just the fact that they have the system already set up in place for them, so it would cost less and be able to do it faster rather than remaking it from scratch. But I don't know. I think it's probably something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and once again, it's one of those things. Only time will tell. After you listen to this podcast, you'll know in 3 days.
Yeah. So it's this Tuesday, not the Tuesday Direct? Wait, sorry, you mean tomorrow?
Well, if I release this podcast on Friday or whatever, then yeah, 3 days.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's Tuesday, the day of the Nintendo Direct at 3 p.m. or something. Now, if you guys remember last year, the big news after Nintendo's Direct was that Devil's Third was coming to the Wii U, and as an exclusive, and that wasn't at the Nintendo Direct. That wasn't at Treehouse afterwards. That announcement came out at 4 p.m. that day. So Nintendo has a history of holding out announcements. So
they held out announcements for their 3-day Treehouse thing, so they'll probably do that again.
Yeah, so it's not unheard of. Codename Steam, another one that wasn't even announced until the next day. That they had their own little roundtable thing the next day. So it's could very well be a Wii U exclusive if the reveals come in later. Yeah.
Before you cut off, I actually wanted to talk about the Mega Man producer for a second.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
So it's interesting because I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical at this point. If I see the name Mega Man, I don't even get excited because I assume it's just going to be
canceled.
not even canceled. Just that it's going to be like a rehash or stinking brush tissue paper holder. Gosh dang it, I hate that thing. But like again, like Mega Man Legacy Collections have the same 6 games we've made over and over. It's like, okay, whatever. So basically, anytime Mega Man comes up, or there's some sort of rumors, I'm like, whatever, I'm brushing it off. Too good to be true kind of crap. This is kind of interesting, but I'm still taking the same nonchalant approach. So it could just be they're hiring someone to handle merchandising, like just toys and whatnot, or just the brand itself, like someone's in charge of like this legacy collection and how they do this and how they approach that and sort of thing. So it may not have to do with a completely new game. It could also be the fact that they're making a Mega Man TV show with the Ben 10 crew. So it could be like Sonic Boom, where they could be hiring this guy so he can handle like this game to tie in with this TV show, which wouldn't be surprising. But on another hand, maybe they are hiring a new Mega Man producer to actually get back into making Mega Man games again, because a couple of years ago, the VP of Capcom was saying they were thinking about Mega Man's future for like the next 10 years. Pretty much sharing ideas, but they didn't want to say too much. Basically, everything was hush-hush, and they're trying to convince people, yeah, we're working on something, but we don't want to disappoint you and cancel games again, so we'll just keep it on the lowdown. So maybe after a couple of years, they're actually, going to come back with something.
Yeah, honestly, if I had to take a guess, I don't necessarily think they've got anything huge under development. I think that this guy is specifically for merchandising. As you said, the new TV show, obviously there's going to be, stuff tied to that's released. So I think that's more what his role is for, because there hasn't been merchandising for Mega Man in so long. But obviously there's always the side where it's like, well, I hope there's this happening. I hope there's that happening. But yeah, I'd be a little more apt to fall on the side of caution as well.
Yeah, I think it's probably just a guy who has to handle like the property itself and what gets made and what doesn't. Like they have a board game, and that's where the news came from. Someone was working, like making a Mega Man board game from Kickstarter, and then they told everyone like, yeah, they're hiring a new producer. So it's probably just merchandising like that. Like, yes, you can use this license, no, you can't, sort of thing. But who knows? There's maybe hope, but I wouldn't count on it. It would be really freaking awesome if Mega Man and Banjo-Kazooie and Battletoads were all announced in E3. That would just be ridiculous, like a nostalgic explosion.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine.
Nostalsplosion, something like that.
If one of those things comes true, and two of those things,
okay, I think
I'd be extremely happy.
I think Battletoads is fairly reasonable because of all the teases. Banjo-Kazooie,
actually.
Maybe that one as well, but I don't think that Mega Man. Nah, I wouldn't have that.
It's like the 0.1%.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we finish up? As always, just plug all our stuff. I'm Eli. Paulus on Twitter. Paulus Elon on MyGen. Also, I write stuff for Nintendo enthusiasts. Check it out. I just put out a predictions piece. Soon I'm going to be, by the time you'll hear this, there's going to be another piece up about Splatoon and strategy, because I think it's a strategy game. And people haven't really been talking about strategy in Splatoon. I think it's like very heavily built on strategy. So there's that. What about you, Mike?
Alright guys, I'm Troy Filibuster on Twitter and Twitch. Also, Regular Gamers on YouTube. I don't remember the last thing we did. Oh yeah, it was like Counter-Strike Go. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys had like 300 viewers on that. 400. Something like that.
Yeah, like 420. Like, I don't know, like, it like blew up.
How much do you guys usually have?
I don't understand why. But, yeah, man, like, me and Bill we were gonna probably stream some more on it, maybe get some more PC games going, but it was cool, man. It was cool. It was the green screen, that's why. The green screen made it look fancy.
Yeah. Alright, and Matt?
Oh, sure, now you get my name right. You only get my name right once we're leaving.
All right.
Anyway, I am Matt, also known as the Mango Viking, on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube.
All right. Oh, and last one I forgot to plug. Sorry to steal your thunder. Nintendo Network 64 on YouTube. I've actually been updating that channel. I'm just not used to plugging it because it has been so inactive. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Really appreciate it. Next week, make sure to tune back. Mike, Matt, and Flea will be here. Probably Pat as well, if we actually get him on for once. Talking about E3. Lots of exciting stuff coming up, and we'll see you next week.